Hello and welcome back to Biker Stuff. In this video I will be showing you how to remove and strip a rear caliper.
In every generation there is a chosen one. She alone will stand among the oily rags, the replacement parts and the used tyres. She is Biker Stuff.
Before I start, can I ask, if you haven't already, would you please subscribe, then ring my bell so you will get notifications when I upload more to YouTube. You can clean calipers while still attached to the bike, but it is much easier to do it on the bench. Also, while off, you can thoroughly clean it and replace the seals. I will be doing this on the Tiger 800, but I will try to make this video as generic as I can. Something I would recommend, if this is the first time you've worked on your bike's brakes or just the first time you've ever done this, take lots of pictures. When you come to reassemble it all, you might be grateful to see what it looked like before you started. If you have compressed air available, you can remove the brake hose before the piston is out, which lives in here. If you don't, keep it attached until the caliper is off the bike. I'll show you that part after I've removed the caliper. Either way, just crack it loose for now and then finger tighten it. While you're there, loosen the bleed nipple too. Be careful, these can be rusty and become weak. It should just need an 8mm spanner. Then lightly tighten them up. One trick is to push the caliper in. This will release the pads from the disc and make it easier to remove. Next, remove the hanger pin cover. This will probably have a flat blade screw head. It can be tough to get off, so try not to mash it. Underneath that, loosen the hanger pin. This is most likely a hex Allen bolt. This holds the pads in, but don't take it out yet. You may need to remove the caliper front retaining bolt fully to get the caliper off the bike. This is a slider bolt on the Tiger and bolted to the caliper, not the bike. Just loosen it for now. Now remove the caliper rear retaining bolt and then fully remove the hanger pin. Lift the caliper up and pull the pads out. Now you can fully remove the caliper front retaining bolt and take the caliper out. If you have compressed air, you can now remove the brake hose bolt. Brake fluid will come out, so have a tub underneath to collect it. If you don't have compressed air, you will need to pump the piston out with the brake pedal. If you haven't already got your piston out, a little bit of compressed air will do the job. Now it's time to strip the caliper, but first let's clean it. This will prevent any dirt going into the cylinder when we rebuild it. This is an important step because if anything gets behind the new seals, it can jam the piston. A piston that won't return smoothly will make the brake stick on. Take the anti-rattle spring out, but note which way around it sits. I'm using a toothbrush and brake cleaner as I know it won't damage anything. Next, using something like this is a scriber, but a watchmaker's screwdriver will do. Carefully pull out the two seals. The inner one is the pressure seal and the outer one is the dust seal. Clean inside the recesses that the seals go in. Over time, because brake fluid is hygroscopic, it absorbs water and you can get a crystallised white muck around the seals. This can, in effect, swell them and prevent the brakes from running smoothly. So it is worth having a careful dig around inside. Finally, remove the collar, the gaiter and the bleed nipple. Once you're happy it is all clean, you're ready to rebuild. Carefully fit your new seals. These are not tapered but parallel and can go in either way. With both seals in, lightly coat them and the piston with brake fluid and, by hand, push it in. It will be a bit tight at first, but once you've got it in so far, it will slide all the way. I've used a new piston because for a few quid more the seal set came with one. Well, it would seem rude not to. Next, we will fit the anti-rattle spring. Be sure to get this the right way around. Note the long rail and the short one. The long side goes on the piston side. Get your new gaiter, apply a thin coat of the rubber grease provided and fold into the caliper. Then do the same with the collar. Now you're ready to refit to the bike. I find it easier to fit the pads on the bike, so that is what I'll do. Fit the new rubber bush to the brake carrier, then the caliper and the pads. This doesn't need to be too tight. that is left now is to refill with fresh brake fluid and bleed the system. Always use a new bottle of brake fluid. You don't need much, so only buy a small bottle. They used to sell 250 ml bottles, but I could only get a 500. You will also need a clear jar, a clear plastic hose, and of course a big paint tin. When you bleed the brakes, you should never let the level drop below the minimum mark on the reservoir bottle. It should take about 3 refills of brake fluid to completely flush through the system. The sequence is: open the bleed nipple, push the brake down, tighten the nipple, release the brake and check the fluid level. Do this until the old fluid has been flushed through. Pour new brake fluid into the jar, enough to cover the bottom of the hose. I've now reached the minimum mark on the reservoir, so I'm going to refill and then check this through another 3 times. I've flushed 2 refills through, topped it up to the maximum and put the lid back on. Now, torque all your bolts according to the workshop manual. Spin the wheel and test the brake. Then check everything over, wipe with a clean dry cloth and you're done. Thank you for watching. I know you liked it, so tell your friends and I'll see you here next time on Biker Stuff.